This channel is supported by my online fishing courses at saltstrong.com/Skinner, as well as my books, including my latest book, Fishing the Edge, Techniques and Tales from Surf, Boat, and Kayak. Hey, these books make great Father's Day gifts. You can learn more about the books at johnskinnerfishing.com and on Amazon. Oh, a beautiful morning. And hey, this trip is inspired by something I've always wanted to do, which is drop a camera down in Plum Gut, which is this nasty rip, this big gorge-like structure off the east end of Long Island, New York. And I did that on a previous trip, and what I saw inspired what we're going to do on this trip. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. All right, that's my brother Bob I've got with me in the boat to do the test, and that we're going to do. So this is Plum Gut, and yeah, this is it's a crowded day. It can get worse, and we're basically starting from the back of the rip going up to the top of the drift. The way this place works, for those who don't know, is you've got roughly, like on this day, a 2 to 4 mile an hour drift. A lot of current here. Although we don't have wind, we have boat waves to contend with. But those boats that are ahead of us are up at the top of the drift. It's roughly 100 feet of water. We'll go up there. We'll drift back to about 50, but it's a varied depth. And yep, there's going to be a lot of boat traffic. Boats, doing exactly what I'm doing at varying speeds, running back up, setting up, drifting back. Now, there's often a lot of fish here. You see a lot of them on the fish finder. A lot are caught. So I always thought it would be cool to drop a camera down and see what's going on down there. Well, what I saw surprised me. So let's get to that first, and that's going to pretty much direct what we're going to do this trip. Okay, so we're dropping down roughly 90-something feet of water. We use bucktail rigs here, so this is basically a floating jig head with a strip of pork rind, very similar to what we'd be offering to fish, except that we use a bucktail, but that won't work with the camera. So I'm just dropping down. Hey, visibility looks good. Lighting looks good. But as we go farther and farther down, guess what? It's black. We often think about what we see down there, but also what we hear is interesting. I'm going to snag bottom, and here's what it sounds like when I try to get off the bottom. Okay, so the camera's detecting no light, but now as we drift farther down the drift, we're getting into shallower water, maybe 50 feet. Now we can start seeing some things. Look. People say, oh, you just hang the bucktail down and they hit it. Well, look at what's going on here. I mean, this thing, there goes a striper going by. In this heavy current, things are sweeping all over. There's no way I can get clear video. But, okay, there's a striper. We can at least see that updrift in the deeper water. The camera can't detect any light. There's probably some light. We can't see it with a camera. As we've gotten now into shallower water, we start seeing light. Now, we're going to be able to see what it looks like then coming back up. Here we go, retrieving the camera up, and now we're going to go and see increasing light. And keep in mind, now the camera is actually pointing down towards the bottom. But, yep, more and more light. So clearly when you're, in 50 feet of water, it looks like there's some light there. Certainly there's plenty of light above that. But when you're up in those 80 to 100 foot depth, it's dark. It's really black down there. So this motivated me to do a color test, because about 3 years ago I did the same thing with a camera in Peconic Bay, and a place where we catch weakfish, and we saw the same thing, dark at the bottom. So we did a color test with diamond jigs, because that was the lure we were using for fish, and we did chrome, black, and glow, and the results were just striking. The chrome only caught 1 fish. The black caught 6 fish. The glow caught 8 fish. Chrome was by far the worst color in that dark water, but chrome is what everybody uses. I mean, if you go and try to buy diamond jigs, it's hard to find glow. It's certainly black. You have to go paint yourself. So the thought here is, what about colors of bucktails? Now, when I fish at night, whether it be in this kind of an area or an ocean inlet for stripers, I fish wine red, and I know many other anglers do as well, or they use black, but certainly the dark colors at night are preferred, but we use white during the day. So my thought was, hey, let's compare that preferred night color, their wine red. Let's go wine red versus white, which is going to do better. And we have two identical bucktails. Actually, they're homemades. I tie them myself. And so everything is the same. My brother and I will swap rods back and forth. We're going to see what catches more fish. Well, here's the first one of the trip. So white is winning 1-0. All right, and let's do a drift from this other angle so you can see exactly what we're doing. It's going to be impossible to maintain this camera angle on this trip because there's just too many boat waves, but this drift, it works. So, yeah, simple technique here. These are 6-ounce bucktails. We'll drop them to the bottom, pick them up a couple of cranks, and just hold the rod. Again, you saw that bottom turbulence. You have to be very careful not to drag the bottom or else you will hang up and lose your rig. But I'm just dropping down now. As soon as it hits bottom, I'm going to just quickly get it off the bottom, take a couple cranks, and hold it. Now the whole object is to follow the bottom contour, so you're going to hear me saying numbers to my brother. I'm just letting him know how deep we are because the water's going to start like 100 feet and it's going to work its way up. So just trying to follow that bottom contour, and ideally if I could drift that bucktail a couple of feet off the bottom, that would be just right. Got two plus a nice drop, 2+ miles an hour. All right, I said, we started in 104 feet, and I told him the speed is a little bit over 2 miles an hour. It'll speed up as we get shallower. All right, I'll describe the rest of the gear. The reels are Maxell hybrids, 25s, spooled with 30-pound test braid. And then the terminal end is just like, 3 feet, maybe 40 inches of 50-pound test fluorocarbon. Does not have to be fluorocarbon. Mono would be fine. And then, tied direct to that 6-ounce bucktail. And the bucktails are tipped with Facow jig strips, the 5-inch strips, the split tails. And for many years, it was pork rind, but I find these jig strips, they work just fine. We have pork rind on the boat, and we're still using these. And the rods are Dark Matter Skinner Jig and Bounce, the original one, the medium heavy. And those rods were designed for ocean fluking, but they've just been spectacular here, even with three-way rigs going up to like 12-ounce sinkers. They just, they just work great. And again, all those details and their links are in the video description. Yeah, and speaking of links, I guess I'll do this one more time before Father's Day. There's a Father's Day special on the Bimini Bay slickers and tops that I wear. The full suit, $100, that's a great deal. It had looked like the jackets had sold out, but no, it was just the black one, so I changed the link to a different color. So yeah, I've had a lot of positive feedback on that. So if you need a set of slickers and a top, there's a good deal and a link in the video description. It doesn't feel right. It just doesn't. I almost wonder whether I got crap on here or something. Yeah, the bulk of the fish going to be near the bottom, but you know what? They do push bait up now and again, and that one hit me coming up. So yeah, this is one of the smaller boats you're going to see in the gut. You know, you always look at the forecast, and of course, there's no wind today. You can get a bad tide rip even on a windless day, but the thing today is boat waves, and they can be bad, but it's okay. Wow, big wave coming. Hold on. '73, good spot. '62. There you go. Oh, I missed him. I gotta check this. Look. God, missed him again. Sure, put in only because, yeah, until I can release this guy, yeah. Which won't take long. Not a very big one. All right, we'll go back up. I had all kinds of hits here. Well, actually, what happened there? Did we catch we lose a fish, or I lost a fish there? All right. Oh boy, come on. Yeah. Freaking hit you 15 times, you're gonna hook one. Oh yeah. '74. '57. What's that? I didn't hear you. Oh, okay. Okay, good. I mean, not that you missed it, but yeah. I know what we're getting hit. It's hits anyway. All right, I'm not going back in. We'll just give it another 10 seconds though, because we're going over some stuff. Yeah, I got screwed up on that drift as well. I got to try and not start as deep. I'll try staying over. We're in a good spot now. But yeah, I'm scoped. So look, when there's this many boats, you can't set up necessarily where you want to because there's boats up there. And you do not go behind somebody close to them and go, basically on their drift. So the right thing to do is to go up ahead of them, and that sometimes will cause you to go, in this case, deeper than you really want to start. So instead of starting like 105, I've started 130. The problem there is so much line went out, and now the current's just kind of pulling that line under the boat. That's the scoping that I mentioned. When you get that angle on the line, so that's not really what you want. But yeah, I'll fight it off here. Well, it was luck, but sometimes you get lucky. Could be a bluefish. He's coming right up. That's a bass. All right, heads up. Perfect. All right, bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the back end of the drift range here is where the rip is set up, and the rip magnifies the boat waves and everything else. So yeah, I don't want to be back here. All right, I'll move it more towards Plum Island. Start up in the 95 spot. It'll be easier. Yeah, I was all over the place on that one. I just, there's fish down there. One of them grabbed my jig. That's about all it was. .65 looks good. Surprised we haven't hooked up.
I might have had a fish on, but
I haven't swung it. I haven't felt it. Oh, that was a hit though. Oh boy, I jumped 45 all the way up. Yeah, let's. Oh, I got him. You know what I was gonna say too, right? Let's bring it up. You can put back down. It's 48. We've got time. It'll probably go back down again. Yeah, it's a 50. And this guy was right on the peak. Biggest one yet, too. I think. Not that it's big, but it's the biggest one. All right, you come up because we're going to go as soon as I get this one in. As soon as I drop it in the water. All right, bring it up and sit down. And tell me when you're down. Okay. Snotty in there. Yeah, that will do it. Yeah, what he was showing me was that the hook was set into the strip. What happens if fish grabs it and it kind of goes over the hook? You set the hook instead of going into the fish, it goes into the strip. Then you just miss a lot of fish. You don't hook them. So people keep asking me about this boat. 1986 Grumman. It's called a 5.0 meter boat, center console. So it's actually 16 feet 4 inches. It's wide, it's deep. It's actually rated for a 100 horse motor. Yeah, I wouldn't put that on there. Got a 70 Yamaha on there. 97. Way to go. You got that guy in like 95 feet. And now you're going to see what I think is absolutely essential for this boat to be fishing here is that big splash well in the back. I see some boats here with like no splash well. The waves can go right in. That would make me nervous, but the waves here rarely go out of the splash well. This will. Might have me too. All right, hold on. Real nasty shit from the stern. All right. All right, we'll be all right. There we go. And I have 2 bilge pumps on separate circuits in case something goes wrong with one of them. We'll be doing some bilging on the way up.
I'm going.
Yeah, 111.
Going in.
106. I mean, there's often a good bite when the current starts to ease up a little bit.
Well, I don't know anything about the
Yeah, well, it's always the case. Any fishing, any bass fishing, that's the case. That was a close call. Yeah, right. The close call was as soon as I dropped down, I was basically snagged for a second. I got off there. We will each lose 1 bucktail to the bottom this trip, and that's more than we've been losing. I'm having trouble feeling the bottom because of the damn up and down of the boat.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. 86. So that's 4 out of 5 drifts we've hooked up. So, you know, we're not dying here. It's just we're not catching 2 every drift, and these are full drifts. Going a lot farther back than I've been going. Just because, you know, we don't have a fish. Well, okay, as long as you're getting hit, that's a, you know. Yeah, 71, good grounds, good grounds. I'm putting back in. Go for 2.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, no, it's because without the 3-way, you feel it a lot sharper. No, it's really easy to, wow, we're 73, still moving along here. Oh, marking beautifully right now, 72. Wow, great marking. 70 feet. $64, $63 coming up. Way to go, nice job. First drift in a while, we doubled up. We're marking like insane right now.
Well, I was about to say, this is a small bed.
So fuel-wise, if the 2 of us fish like 4 to 5 hours, which is basically full tide, and we have about an 18-mile round trip, you know, here and back. You got to think about all the running up current we have to do. The boat's going to burn a little less than 5 gallons. $105. See, the drift direction has changed because we're going through the depths a little differently. It's not that it's really slowed. There he is. Ah, you prick. Dropped him. 98 feet. Ah, you... Damn it. That was a solid hit. There he is. Third time's the charm. Of course, hitting that wine red bucktail in the darkness at 95 feet of water. Yeah, and here's something I want to mention, and comes from previous trips. I can't tell you how many times when you're up in that 70 to 100 zone, you're marking fish, those things are hitting. And then when you're back like 55 feet, which I now know has significantly more light, you're marking and they're not hitting. Now that I've seen the underwater video, it seems to me that they're just hitting better in the dark water. You know, maybe they have the advantage feeding like that over their prey. I can just tell you the fish in the deep water for us have been hitting better than the ones back farther, even though we can mark right through the drift. A lot of fish. Hundred. $97. $92. $87, $86. It's about where we should start hitting them here. There. Oh boy, you're a champ. Get that sucker up. Keep it coming. All gear is property of the boat. All right. People have fished this place heavily for decades and decades. I cannot imagine how much gear is on the bottom. Well, we're going to get to see a chunk of the gear because he's snagged, but he's pulled this thing out. All right. And there it is, a pair of 14-ounce sinkers. I mean, they're separate rigs, but boy, there's a major mistake here. Those things have got like 100-pound at least mono on there. You want to put those sinkers on lighter line than either goes to the bucktail or the main line. This way here, you lose just a sinker when you snag. So, all right. Let's watch his last fish, which will actually be his biggest, maybe the boat's biggest fish for the trip, and I'll tell you what the final score is. Very interesting. White caught 15 fish. Red caught 14 fish. So it's even. It made no difference. The color made no difference. And those are drastically different colors. I would not normally think about using the wine red during the day. Looks like in this scenario, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. And like I said, this is much different than when we did a color test for weak fish with the metal jigs. Now, something to consider is, chrome is a reflective thing where either a white bucktail or a red bucktail, those aren't reflective. They're both solid. So, that might have something to do with it. But, yeah, always interesting to mess around with this stuff. Okay, in addition to the 29 fish that got onto the scorecard, we had 3 other bass, but somebody was always messed up with something else, so we couldn't quite count those. They were out of the water. We also had 3 large bluefish. So, Yeah, it was busy. You know what? Compared to some recent trips, this one was not as hot and heavy, but obviously very good fishing. Great to see this many stripers. All right, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Check out my online courses at saltstrong.com/Skinner. Don't forget my books, including my latest book, Fishing the Edge, Techniques and Tales from a Surf, Boat, and Kayak. These books make great Father's Day gifts. You can learn more at johnskinnerfishing.com and on Amazon.